Hi, I'm Pastor Bob. I'm the Bishop's Assistant for Communications in charge of technology, and I've been asked to share some tips for our 2022 online Synod Assembly. This year, our assembly will be conducted through a program called Zoom, a meeting platform that has become very popular during this time of pandemic. Many of you may have used Zoom for work meetings or family conversations over the last 2 years. We will also use an electronic voting platform known as Vpoll. We'll cover both of these technologies in a moment. Since the assembly will be a different kind of Zoom meeting than you may be used to, with formal procedures to have voice and to vote, we ask you to participate in our tech test session on Thursday evening, April 28th at 7 p.m. There you'll have a chance to test your setup, try the procedures for speaking and voting, and have access to live telephone technical support. We will also have a telephone support team available during the assembly on Saturday, April 30th, in case you run into problems. Rest assured that you are not on your own when it comes to participating in assembly. The first step in preparing for assembly is to download the Zoom software from zoom.us. The software is free, and if you have a hard time downloading it and setting it up, please ask your pastor, and she or he can help you find someone who can set it up so that you have the best experience. As you download the program, it may ask you to have access to your camera and your microphone. Please say yes to those questions in order to set up the program correctly. To have the best experience during our virtual assembly, you'll need to have a couple of things in advance. Number one, you need to have a reliable internet or Wi-Fi connection. As a general rule, computers connected by an Ethernet cable will perform better than those with just a Wi-Fi connection. Number two, you will need to have the Zoom software downloaded and set up correctly. A day or so prior to the event, I suggest that you use Zoom's Check for Updates feature to download and install the latest version of the software. Number three, you should plan to participate in the assembly using either a laptop or a desktop computer or a tablet. Smartphone screens are just too small for everything that needs to take place. Number four, you will need to have or sign up for a free Zoom account. If you already have a paid account, you can use that, of course. Number five, please plan to join the assembly orientation on Thursday, April 28th at 7 p.m. This is an opportunity for you to test your technology and make sure that you are able to hear and see the meeting, be seen and heard by other participants, and get the hang of electronic voting. Oh, and one other thing. When you come to the virtual assembly, please bring along an extra helping of grace. If you've ever been to an in-person assembly, you know that sometimes things will go wrong. Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes with technology, there will be occasional glitches. We will make it through just fine, as long as we have enough grace to share with one another. Here's how you will access the Zoom meeting. The week prior to the assembly, you will receive an email with the link to the Zoom meeting. Keep this email accessible on your computer so you can click the link to join the assembly. The Assembly Zoom meeting will be opened approximately 1 hour prior to the start of worship on Saturday, April 30th. We recommend that you log in early so that there's time to resolve any technical issues. You can expect to spend some time in the waiting room while we finalize preparations for the meeting. Soon the host will admit you and you will join the virtual meeting space. While you are waiting for assembly to get started, take a moment to get familiar with the control bar at the bottom of the Zoom window. These controls are how you will interact with us during the meeting. To the bottom left is the Unmute Mute button. You and all participants will be muted during the meeting unless you have requested to speak and have been acknowledged by the chair. We'll get back to that in a minute. Next is the Start/Stop Video button. You may wish to keep your video off to reduce the bandwidth that you use and provide a more stable experience. But if you're acknowledged to speak, you should click this to turn on your video when you speak. After the Participants button, there is the very key Chat button. This is used to place yourself in the queue to speak before the assembly. The Reactions button is the home of the ever-popular Raise Hand feature, which will be very important if you are recognized to speak. So here's how that works. If you'd like to speak to the assembly, click the Chat button. In the chat window where it says Type Message Here, you will enter the reason you wish to speak, along with your name and congregations. A list of all the reasons to request to speak are on the Parliamentary Guide linked below. Press the Return key to submit your request to the queue. Now you can sit back and wait to be recognized by the bishop. When you are recognized, this is the time to click Reactions, then Raise Hand. This makes it easier for the host to quickly find you among 350 plus people on the Zoom. The host will send you a request to unmute, which will appear in your window. Select Unmute. Then click Start Video if your camera is not already on. You may then say your name and congregation and begin to speak. The chair will let you know when your time is up. Your pre-assembly email will include the link and access code for the voting platform, along with the voter code that you will use to log on to the platform. Keep this email accessible as you will need this information to log on. Here are the steps for logging in to Vpoll. First, go to www.vpoll.mobi using a web browser on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Enter the access code provided in the email. Then you'll be prompted to enter the email address with which you registered for assembly and the voter code provided in your email. Once you are logged in, you should remain logged in unless you close the page. Please note that you can only log in on one device at a time for voter security. It is not recommended to switch devices during the assembly. If you run into a glitch for some reason, simply go back to www.vpoll.mobi and log in as before. When you first log in, there will be no election questions live, so you'll first see a screen that shows "Question will be broadcast shortly." When the chair calls for a vote during the assembly, switch to your web browser tab or other device. The current question will then appear on your screen. The screen will show the choices that you may vote for, and below that is a Submit button. Simply select the options you wish to vote for by tapping or clicking, and when you are sure you're ready to vote, click or tap the Submit button. Two very important side notes about the Submit button. First, if you click Submit and you have voted for too many choices, you will receive an error and an opportunity to correct your ballot. The system does not allow you to submit an illegal ballot. Second, once you click Submit with a valid response, your vote will be recorded and you cannot change it at that point. So be careful when you use the Submit button. Once you submit your vote, your screen will read "Answer is successfully saved." If this is a one-off vote, such as a yes, no, abstain procedural vote, or perhaps a vote to adopt a resolution, you can switch back to your Zoom screen for the rest of the meeting. If, as during our election balloting, there are multiple votes, the next vote will appear on your screen when it is called by the chair. Now, I know that is a lot to absorb. We hope that you have a great experience at our virtual assembly. If you have any questions, please contact us by email at assembly@sepa.org or visit our website, ministrylink.org. All of the information you need to know about our virtual assembly is online at ministrylink.org/assembly. Well, that's all you need to know. Good luck. We're looking forward to welcoming you to assembly on Saturday, April 30.